There's a few key things. Obviously, guys, there is a why you've been selected to be here. Because you either proved you're great at what you're doing, you've got the skills of the field, you've got a great mentality of a leader, or you've got great potential to be one of them. Okay? Now, what I want to talk about, there's a few bullet points I put on there. First one is the winners versus losers. Number 2 is Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. Then we got about looking at the details on the field. Finding your running buddies, PMA versus attitudes, and how to represent you as a brand. Okay? There are a few key points of actual winning mentality. So going to the first point, guys, okay? I will start with a quote, okay, by Emerson. He said, if you believe you can, you can. If you believe you cannot, you're right. What he meant by that is, you're either all in or you're not. Right? So my mentality, the time I came back to the program, I understood what I've lost. I understood, that what I've been doing before wasn't the right thing to do. So for me to start again was, now I'm putting myself 100% in, and I don't want to waste no more time because I already did wasted the 2 to 3 years of my life. Now, winners losers, well, I mean nothing in between, because like any other campaign, guys, you either decide to have a great day when you wake up, or not to have a great day when you wake up, right? You know it. Right? So if you have a game plan, if you have a plan for a day, when you wake up, you know what to do when you start. Your winning starts from the moment you actually get off the bed. Right? The victory starts from the moment when you wake up, not from the moment when you start your first customer. And that was my mentality when I started. Okay? Now, Pareto principle, which is the 80-20 rule, is very simple. The 80% of the sales in the world are generated by 20% of salespeople. And the 20% of the sales are done by 80% of the salespeople that remains. Okay? The truth is, and it is a fact. If you look at the high rollers boards, these guys are the top guys. People who ring the bell, who get the recognition every single morning. They're the guys who make more money than anyone else, right? And if you look at the percentage, it's actually 20%. 1 in 5, okay, is the person who is the best example, who works the hardest, who delivers the best results. 7 is with business owners and employees. 8% of population, okay, are people who want to work for somebody, who hoping to keep their job, and by the time they're 67, if they're still alive, they might get some retirement, which gonna put them in a place where we see every single day by knocking on those doors. In the council estate usually, or on pension credits, right? With £100 a week, if you're lucky. And my mentality was very simple. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be like most of the customers I'm talking to, especially on the installation campaign, because those were our main target of people we were actually speaking to, right? So, and about 20% of people, they're either self-employed or business owners or entrepreneurs. People who are financially independent and took their life in their hands. People who don't see themselves working all their life. So, leaving opportunity for the first time, I went back to the mentality of, okay, I'm in China, working for big companies, China Mobile. Try to do my own business with import-export electronics. Right? Different sort of things, which great experience, definitely, I got out of it. But at the same time, I understood what I'm doing is actually, I'm going the path of the 80% of people. Right? And the people who actually employed me and paid me my money for my living, which is very quality life, don't get me wrong, was that 20% I always wanted to be. So going back to England, going back to London, I didn't think twice. I just pick up my phone, I make a phone call, and I called, the guys from the per diem and said, cool guys, I'm back. And I want to get a chance again. I remember somebody said, he laughed at me, like, Paul again. So now, the third point is the every detail count, right? You all do pitch practice in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you know how to say introduction to the story? Hello, how are you? I'm fine. I'm in the area today because, right, do you really have to be repeating that 25 times in the morning? No.
Not really.
I don't believe so. What I would always want to know when I pitch practice is those details. Because the 5 steps is 5 steps. The 5-year-old autistic child with a brain damage can learn what to say, see other people and smile, and they will find the results as well. But for me, it was a very simple thing. Okay, let's say if Nicola is number 1 in the country in sales, she said the same thing what I say. So why she is number 1 and I'm not? So then I started looking at the details, her tone of voice, the body language. Then I started asking questions. Nicola, can you show me the fear of loss in your pitch, in your presentation? I'm going to try to apply that skill today. When we pitch, can you show me, can you put the main point on, let's say, urgency? Now I was looking at her body language. I was looking at her tone of voice. The little tiny details that makes that whole difference. And by applying it so, this is where my results came up. Right? Not by trying to have 5 steps written down and banging my head on the wall, why no one buys. Because the same thing when you look at the horse race, the first horse that wins is like, let's say, got £1 million prize, but the second one got 100,000, right? Now, usually what you see on horse races or dog races, sorry my writing is not that great, let's say that's a horse, okay? And the second horse lost by just a tip of a nose, okay? That's the second horse. Now, the tip of a nose, that means the prize is only 100,000, not 1 million anymore. Doesn't mean that this second horse don't have a chance to be great, or is actually on the second race he will actually win. But that little detail, that little tiny thing made a whole difference. And the same thing is with a pitch, same thing is with what you learn. Right? The 5 steps is always going to be 5 steps. There's no need of putting 6 or 7 steps on it. Right? What you say is the same. It's just look at the detail. Your job is to become a master of sales and marketing industry, not to be a salesperson. By mastering the skill sets, you'll be able not only to coach and develop others and transfer the skill set on the next person, which makes you replace yourself, by focusing on just the sales and just a pitch, you're going to become professional door-to-door knocking person. To the point on your 60th birthday, I will buy you a Zimmer frame, because you will need that, okay? You don't want that, right? Okay, guys, next thing is finding a running buddy and setting competition. This is really important, okay? If I didn't have a running buddy, probably I wouldn't be where I am, okay? I always want to make sure I pick somebody who is slightly better than me. I want to make sure I can match him, beat him, and find the next target. Finding a running buddy doesn't mean I'm going to pick the high roller if I'm not, because everyone's going to laugh at me if I want to compete with him. He's way above me. But if I find somebody, let's say if my average is, let's say, 3 sales a day, and let's say most average is 4, I will make sure that's going to be my running buddy now. I will spend time with him, pitch practice with him. Look at what he does to make sure I get my average to that stage where he is. Once I get there and beat him, then I will find someone who does 6 and 7s. Right? So, looking at your running buddy is somebody who is a little bit ahead of you and try to compete with you. Give you an example, there was a guy who tried to compete with me. Once I got promoted to assistant management, he said, I'm going to beat you, and I'll just look at him like, okay, bring it on. He got 3, I got 10. I just disclassified him. I said, how do you feel right now? I asked him. He said, I'm feeling great. I said, what makes you feel great right now? It's really better if you compete with someone who does 3 and 4s and you hit 4, and then you'll be like, great, at least I've tried, we matched. You knew you're not going to win. He said, yes, I knew I'm not going to win. So you just wasted your day. Because this extra push against someone on the same level, both of you will increase your averages because you're competing. But he wanted to compete with me, but mentally he knew he was not going to win. You understand? Right? Now, running buddies as well, somebody who might be on the same stage as you in the program. So get yourself a target. Okay, if you're a leader, who will first get to crew management? Who recruits more guys this week? Or who is the first guy gonna have, let's say, hit the production of assistant management? Get a short-term goals, competition, set for yourself every single week. And competition, I mean serious competition. We used to compete with Maya for things like travel cards. We competed with Maya for all sorts. There was blood. There was blood money. Okay? There wasn't a competition, oh yeah, I'm going to buy you a drink, you buy me a drink. No. There was no such thing. Were you on a date? I didn't know. Right? And I said, I remember when Maya started, when she started being really constant on the field, she started competing with me. They started competing on the recruitment. The point she got promoted to management before me. Competition was, and every single Friday challenges, in 12.5 months on the field, I've lost twice. One time, Maya made me eat cinnamon, and second time, Maya put pie on my face. Alright, there was only twice I've lost. The rest of those weeks I won. Because I didn't compete with Maya. And so, no, actually I did a few times. Okay, so basically the mentality was basically, I want to make sure this guy's not going to beat me. I want to take a photo of his face and look at him. There was this guy who was number 1 in the country for a long time on installation, it was Emmanuel. I remember in the pub one time I said to him, next week I'm going for you. He started laughing at me. And I took a picture of him and he stuck his ugly tongue out. And he wasn't the best looking guy. Okay? And I had it on my wallpaper for the whole week. That week I beat him by 2 sales, right on the rest of the day. Because in my head was this guy, if I see this tongue one more time I'm going to cut it. I will get it off. I will not allow this guy to ever laugh at me. But even if I lost, my sales would increase anyway, pretty much doubled. Because my average was 20 to 25 a week, I did 40 that week. Right? Not only because I really want to make more money, it was all about beating that guy. Which only I benefited not only financially, but at the same time that week I remember I recruited a couple of guys in my team, because they saw money, so sales, so the drive. Right? Next week is something called PMA versus attitude. Okay? Do you guys know the definition of attitude? Bob? What's the definition of attitude? Okay? Like how you think?
Attitude is like, for example, how you act towards something, a situation,
Yep.
etc.
Attitude, the definition of attitude is a focus and direction. It's a clear vision, clear focus on what you want to do. If you lost your attitude on the field, you just lost your focus. That's all what's happened to you. Look at your goals, look at your gauges, and carry on. Right? Many guys ask me, and I hate that question personally, especially if it comes from a leader or someone who's been for longer. Paul, how do I fix my attitude? I just look at him, and I got a letter from Duncan Sharp, one of the managers. He said to me, look at the guys that have a wank. How can I help you fix your attitude? It's something you're meant to have. If you don't have a focus and direction from the day one you wake up, okay, it's going to be hard to actually fix it later, trust me. And now PMA, it's something different now. PMA is a positive mental attitude. It's a muscle you build around yourself, okay, that everything negative won't get you. If this is you, okay, and this is your attitude muscle around you, okay, it's like a bubble. Now, when you're a new guy, when you're starting, okay, or when you're on the field, the first negative that hits you, okay, from negative customer, from a parent or girlfriend just told you that you're shit, okay, whatever happens, what's happening is the muscles start breaking, right, and you start losing your attitude, you losing your focus. But what's happened after a while, some of you be here for 3 months, 4 months time right now. By now your muscle gets thicker and thicker and thicker, right? It's much harder to get the negative to get into you. You become bulletproof. And what makes it thicker is every single time when you win. Every day, that gets you closer to your goal. Every bell I rang, I felt stronger, more confident. Every customer I sent up, I felt a step closer to management. I never look at numbers as a sales. I look at it as a sales as a result of implementing skill sets correctly. Because my job is to implement the skill set, become master of it, be able to replicate it. Sales as a natural result of doing so. Okay? With this mentality, you're always going to win. You're not going to think about numbers. This is the last thing I will ever talk about. I'd rather find out, if you think you had a bad day, I want to find out how many people you spoke to, how many presentations you delivered, not how many sales you did. Because I cannot fix your sales. I cannot sign applications for you. But I can fix your approach, I can fix your presentation or your closing lines. You understand?